Vice Mayor?
On questions?
Well, questions or comments, closing comments? Either way.
Sure. No, I just want to thank you, Scott, for all that you've done and all of the hard work and just, again, on the realistic timelines and being able to share that. I'm glad also that you made the Indian Creek bathroom project comment that's not in this packet, but it is funded. It's prior funding of $437,000 that is going forward. So when we talk about the Indian Creek Playground project of $1.5 million, that is a major playground budget and a major investment. And I want to thank you because you've kind of increased that to meet the demands of residents or desires of residents. It doesn't include the bathroom. So that's near $2 million going into that park to make it better, which is great. I wanted to say on the playground restoration, we do have this new item before us with things moved around. There were a couple of renderings that went out on a couple of potential designs for playgrounds, and they didn't get the feedback we expected. And so, the way I view that is it's on us, right? Because we're the ones that provide the funding. So there is a new standard in playgrounds to have shade. That is the number one desire of residents. It's too hot. We have playgrounds, but no one uses them because they're too hot. And as a mom, and I'm sure Councilor May can speak as a parent as well, the thing to know about Jupiter playgrounds is if you want to play at a playground with your children, you're leaving Jupiter. We do not stay in the town. We take our kids to gardens, to other towns. And so the goal is to stay in the town and have more people use the playgrounds, and shade is really going to do that. So when staff were looking to purchase, shade and change the turf because mulch isn't great for strollers all the time, or wheelchairs or any other thing, it got expensive quickly. Sometimes it could be more expensive than the equipment itself. So the renderings were showing less equipment, not enough equipment, but having the shade there in place. So I wanted to make a request, and that's what you're seeing in this updated sheet here, to help provide some of that funding to meet the expectation of residents. And, I've been careful about it because we are fiscally responsible. We do try to repair things, maintain them well. But when they reach the end of their useful life, when your refrigerator breaks at home or appliance, you make that upgrade and you do it right? And then it goes on to the next period. So we have this master plan coming. There's a survey done with that, something like 51% of survey response, those making responses use playgrounds are some of our highest use facilities after beaches, or public restrooms. These are really highly used. I also wanted to focus, I made a swap here. You'll see a different park, Abacoa Community Park, listed in 25, and it has a different budget, you'll notice, from Find. But, we were looking at the older parks first, but not all of the older parks are being used, and not all of them are as visible. And so we really want to make sure that we're meeting the need of residents who want someplace to go. And so, and it's visible in the community. So, there are different tiers of neighborhoods as well, with different tiers of funding. Some neighborhoods, like Eastview Manor, we just cut the ribbon on that one. It has no parking. It's a neighborhood playground. It has no parking. It has no bathroom. It has no other recreation facilities. So that's going to be a smaller budget or footprint. And you're going to look at that across some of these. Others, JCP, ACP, have the parking, have the bathrooms, have the larger. Abacoa is smaller because it's a smaller lot size, and you can only do so much with the size of the space. But, that's kind of what the goal is. The goal is, let's get people using more playgrounds more quickly, staying in the town, enjoying those facilities. Let's give, staff the resources to be successful in meeting the new desires with shade. Let's be smart about it, looking at trees, looking at that, but also how we communicate it. So I also had a conversation with staff about some of the renderings. And, when we were looking at fire stations in Indian Creek Park, and I know that that's some of the delay because Indian Creek Park was supposed to be done before, and we delayed it because we were looking at it, for other uses. But we had renderings done, or, we basically pulled the aerial from like Papa Maps so that you could see where every tree was, what was there, and then you could visualize it or have it drawn out. So with AI and with some of the renderings that staff shared, sorry to go on so long about this, but, residents aren't always necessarily used to seeing different renderings or plans. And if they don't include the trees that they know are there or the benches, they may assume that, we're removing trees or we're not planning for benches, and that's just not the case. So we want to make sure that we're communicating effectively, managing expectations around that. But this is a major part of the Recreation Master Plan. It's highly trafficked, highly used, could be highly used, if you do this. So that's my request. The request was for additional funding. You'll see Maplewood was $275. It's now $450. Jupiter Community Park was $450. It's now $735 because it's a larger park. Abacoa Community Park was $400. It's now $500. So these are increases to kind of meet the shade and the equipment. And then we made a switch on one of the parks just to get those higher use, higher visibility parks done first. So that's what I submit to you guys for discussion. But
Thank you.